Today's video is going to be about how I placed my order for my 2024 C8 Corvette. I'm going to go over the options that I went with and why I chose them. Everyone has their own likes and dislikes, and any options that I did not choose doesn't mean that they're not good. It just didn't provide enough value to me. That's why I did not opt for those options. If someone builds their car differently, absolutely everyone has their right. That's why these are called options. So the first step is going to be to selecting a dealership that where you're going to get on a wait list. Make sure to read forums, go online, search for the top Corvette selling dealerships. After you've shortlisted your dealerships, do make sure to call them and ask them how many allocations are they getting every month. I have seen some dealerships now that are selling under MSRP. Make sure to take advantage of that. But some dealerships, even right now, have a huge wait list, and you could be waiting anywhere from 6 to 8 months. Once you finalize your dealership, they might ask for a small deposit starting from anywhere from $500 up to $2,000, depending on the dealership. The next steps are going to be just waiting for that phone call where your dealership lets you know that they're ready to get your order in the system. Now for the next step, let's head over back to our computer and show you exactly how you're going to do that. So after your dealer has let you know that they're ready to build your Corvette, they're going to ask you for a build sheet. The way you do that is you go on Chevrolet.com, and on the top left corner would be Vehicles. You click and then go to Performance, and then you'll see the Corvette Stingray. Now for 2024, you do have the option to either go with a Z06, E-Ray, or a Stingray. But in our scenario, we're going with a Stingray. The next page is going to be like a brochure for the Corvette C8. That's not what we're looking at today, so let's go to the top right corner and hit build and price. The next thing that you're going to look at are these symbols. Read through that, make sure you understand what these mean. The first choice that you're going to get here is either going with a coupe or a convertible. Everyone has their preferences. I personally went with a coupe because I felt it didn't justify the price of the convertible. For me, it didn't bring value to me, and at the same time, the coupe is a target top, so the top is still removable. The only thing is it's not automatic. It has to be manually done. It is a hassle, but again, it wasn't good value for money. For me, it could be different for you. So let's go with the coupe for now because that's how I built it. And then the next biggest option or selection that you're going to have to make is either going with the 1, 2, or 3 LT. These are 1 and 2 is really where the difference is. 3 LT is everything that 2 LT has, plus it has full leather interior, or you could go with suede interior. Most of the convenience features come with the 2 LT. The 2 LT, now you get the blind spot monitoring. I value that greatly. You get adaptive cruise control. You get heated and cooled seats. You get memory seats. You get a heads-up display. You get the garage, the universal garage opener. If you're looking for the absolute base model Corvette, the 1LT is the way to go. You can still add the Z51, which I'll cover later, and all other performance aspects with the 1LT. The next choice is going to be the color that you choose. Most people go with black, red, white. I personally went with Amplify Orange, and I absolutely love it. You do have the option either to add stripes to the car or the Stinger stripe, carbon flash, or whatever color you want to choose. I personally feel it's way overpriced. This is something that you could get from a local wrap shop. They would do just an amazing job, and you could save a lot of money there. But if you want to get it from the factory, you have the option there. Same goes for the fender stripes and graphics. The next is going to be choosing the wheels. A lot of people try to put on aftermarket wheels. A lot of people size up from the 19 up front. They go to a 20 up front and they go to a 21 in the back. For a lot of people, it doesn't matter what rims they choose, but I personally went with the standard because I think it looks good with the orange. The other options for that amount of money, I wasn't willing to spend on the GM offers. I personally didn't like anything that they offered, so I went with the silver stock, that the standard rims that come with the car. The next option is going to be if you want to paint the calipers. I didn't. I personally feel the black looks good on the orange, but you do have the option. It's $6.95. If this is something that you absolutely want, I would highly recommend going for it at this point rather than having it done afterwards. It's not going to be of the same quality, or it might even end up costing the same amount of money. You can choose the center caps. I didn't choose any of these. The wheel locks, you could go with black if you want, but for me, as I said, I like the silver look, and that's what I went with. The next is going to be choosing the interior color. I personally went with the beige interior. I just love the look of beige, and I do also like how it complements the orange color, so that's what I went with. The next is going to be the seat type. And this is where the Napa leather versus the Milan leather becomes important. I went with the Milan leather because in order to get the Napa leather, you have to get GT2 seats. Now, what are GT2 seats? They're better looking seats. The next version up is the competition seats, which I've heard from some people that it's comfortable, from some people that it's not. But for me personally, I do like the look of the GT1 seats. GT2 seats are great. They look better, no doubt about that. But for 1,700 bucks, I think it wasn't justifiable from my point of view. Again, you could think different. A lot of people go with the GT2 seats. I think if you can, you should. That's where I'm going to end this. For me, I went with the GT1 seats. The next is going to be the seat belt color. This is something that I was in between whether I should go orange or not, but eventually I decided just to keep it black. I like the look of it, and I'm glad I didn't go with orange, but whatever your combination is, I think doing it at this point is a good idea. The next is a suede microfiber interior, and then if you read the eye, that is going to tell you that it is due to supply chain shortages, this feature has limited availability. So this is something that you can add, but it will require you to have GT2 seats. So like obviously, because I didn't go with GT2 seats, that's not included in my car. The next, and I'm going to get a lot of hate about it, the Z51 package. I opted not to go for the Z51 package, and hear me out why I did not. So let's go over the features of the Z51. It has performance suspension, which is great, and these are adjustable coilovers. If you plan on lowering your car, it might help you get there at a cheaper, shouldn't say cheaper because it costs $6,345. So if you want adjustable coilovers and performance suspension, you get the Z51. The next is going to be Brembo brakes. So they're bigger caliper, bigger rotor. They are far better than the non-Z51 package, no doubt about that. But it does produce a lot of brake test, which for a daily driver or someone who's not tracking the car, for me, the brakes are great on my Corvette. It stops on a dime. It's for what I need, I think it's more than enough. But if you do want the Brembo upgraded brakes, yeah, Z51 provides you that. Then you do get the Z51 rear spoiler. I like the high wing anyway, so for me, that was irrelevant. And then you do get the Michelin Pilot Sport 4S. These are great performance tires, but they cannot be ran in the winter. That was a deal breaker for me. I live in Northeast Ohio. Anytime the temperature goes under 40 degrees is where these tires are not recommended. And I would say 6 months out of the year, it's under 40 degrees. So this was a no for me. The other option would have been to get another set of wheels and tires that I have to swap in and swap out between winter and summer. That's something that I wasn't looking forward to do, so I decided not to go that. One big thing that you do get with the Z51, which is otherwise an option as well, is the performance exhaust. It gives you the option to adjust your valves, and you cannot add this afterwards, even if you go with an aftermarket exhaust, which has those valve controls. You cannot do that. So I would highly recommend getting the performance exhaust regardless of if you don't get the Z51. If you get the Z51, the performance exhaust is included. But if you don't get the the Z51, do get the performance exhaust. The electronic limited slip differential, it provides better traction, gets you better off the line. I was still able to get 3 seconds 0 to 60. I don't see the benefit of this unless I'm taking it to the track. Maybe once or twice for me, and I'm not looking to get the fastest lap or competitive racing. So for me, it didn't provide that extra benefit to justify the 6,345. The performance ratio rear axle, again, I've been told that it helps with the off the line. Still, I was able to achieve 3 seconds. Heavy duty cooling, it's great to have if you live in hotter climates. I don't. So for me, I believe it didn't provide enough benefit. So yeah, that's the Z51 package. I opted not to go for it, and I think for a lot of people, it is money wasted, but it does help you hold your value of the car better. It's personal choice, your situation. Without a doubt, it is great to have. I would have loved to have it if I would have gotten it for cheaper. And then you can get the Stingray appearance package, some accessories, battery package, and some interior protection package. So the next is going to be the options. Now, this is where a lot changed for 2024, and I'm going to go over what I went with. So I went with the carbon flash metallic painted outside mirrors and spoiler. It was 200 bucks. Even if I go to a vinyl shop, they would have charged me the same amount, and then it would have been a vinyl, not a paint. So I opted for this. The next thing that I opted for, I did want the high wing spoiler, and there's a fun story about it. And I did want the genuine ground effects. I couldn't, and I'm going to go over why that happened. The front radiator grille is a great and a must-have. You can buy it for $495 from GM. It would come on your car if you're driving from, let's say, the museum, or if you're driving an hour, anything more from the dealership to your home. You're taking the highway, there's some construction work on the way. I would recommend getting it done there. I personally didn't get it done from the dealership. I got the grill off of eBay. I think I spent 80 bucks and I installed that. The next is going to be the summary, where you're going to go over everything that you selected, and if you like it, you're going to see some pictures and your total price. So I paid, yeah, I forgot one thing. I added the front lift, which is, I added the performance exhaust, and I added the front lift. One thing that I didn't add was the magnetic selective ride control. That is the only regret I have in building my car. I have been in situations where my car, coming out of a turn, as soon as I come back, straighten up my steering, the car bounces around. With a magnetic selective ride control, it would be hardly noticeable. That's everything I got. I did get the protection package too, even though I think I didn't order it, but it was on my build sheet, and I was like, I'm not changing it now that it's already on there. And either way, so there's that. There's 84,000 with the magnetic selective ride control. Here you go. You can either send it by email, you can print it out, you can save it for later. So you can send it via email to your dealer. He would have everything the car the way you want it, and they'll send it off to GM, and they might come back saying everything is available, your car is in production, they accepted the order. But for me, unfortunately, what happened is, I mentioned that before, I had the high wing and ground effects added to my car. When I put in my build sheet, they sent it to GM, my dealership, and gets back to me stating that you cannot do the high wing and the ground effects with an orange car. You could do any other color and it's available, but it's not available for an orange car. Like, how is that possible? Anyhow, so I told him, remove that from my order. I'll get aftermarket ones, and either do it myself or have some shop do it. I ended up doing it myself. So that's it. So that's it. That's how I placed my order for this 2024 C8 Corvette. I did forget to mention a few things about the features that I selected and the benefits of it, and a couple options that I also added. For example, the performance exhaust does give you 5 extra HP, and I also did opt for the 2 lights in the engine bay, which wasn't an option before 2024. Do let us know in the comments what other details would you like us to go in more detail. Thank you so much for watching, and I will continue on making content with this car and some other cars that my circle has and meeting new people on car meets. If you want to stay tuned, please make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment how you felt about this video and what video you want to see next.